And we are live! Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Isle of the Damned, where we here play Vampire the Dark Ages, a very fun game set on the Isle of Man in the current year of 1229. Thank you for joining us. I hope you're excited for some fun vampire mayhem. I think with that, we're going to go through some introductions of our players. Starting off with our returning general, Cappadocian, Drew. Why don't you give us an intro while I get your token stuff set up?
Hey everybody, I'm Drew. I play Snorri the Cappadocian. Unfortunately, you will not be seeing me tonight because I'm blind and my child decided to put the shutter over my laptop and I cannot undo it myself. So you get to see my token instead. But
Whoa.
it's a pleasure to be here. I'm glad to see
What a
all of
lovely
you.
token it is, indeed.
That's the
Wow.
wrong token. I'll fix it.
Stalling, so we'll keep talking until Mark gets this fixed. It's been a pleasure. I'm sorry I had to miss last week. I had some other endeavors, and I heard the group really messed everything up while I was gone, and I'm looking forward to game tonight to clean up the mess.
Yeah, man.
It wasn't
Sounds
my
about
fault this time, you guys. Didn't do it.
Well,
Once I didn't do it.
actually, I could make an argument that ultimately it very much was.
Okay, all right. Hobby.
All right. With that, speaking of the one who is now having the responsibility forced upon them, Blue, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. I'm Blue, and I'm playing your Prince of Peel, Gwyneth, your beleaguered stepdad, who's at fault for everything, apparently. I broke Drew's camera. It was me.
You're not my real dad.
It was me, Barry.
Exactly. Exactly.
Very.
You're my real dad.
Next up, Thomas, why don't you give us your introduction?
Hello, my name is Thomas, and I don't blame the prince. The good book tells us that all authority stems from God, and thus it is the ultimate fault of the Almighty. I am playing Sheriff Randolph, Clan Gangrel, who is meeting and fighting his first Salubri maybe, and Barley definitely. He's having
What about
he's having a
Hot
pretty
Thomas?
bad
Is he gonna
time,
weigh
but
in?
only because he hasn't won yet.
Woo!
Sorry, continue.
Everything's fine. We're not fighting anybody to the death. It's great.
That's
We're,
very
go-
nice.
we're all good here. How are you?
All right,
Boring
with that,
conversation anyway.
exactly. With that, up next, Mars, why don't you give us your intro?
Hello, I am Mars, and I am playing Maud, the Valkyrie Aramanes. And I'm gonna have some fun. And I'm freed from the cast.
Yay!
Yeah.
Boots.
We can now give you
All
a
the
hand
fingers.
without feeling bad about it.
Yeah.
To be fair, I still had one of them, so now I have both.
Here we go. Ta-da! It has been done.
Yay!
Oh.
Delightful.
All right then. That's one.
We forget someone.
And last, but certainly not least, Rebecca, why don't you give us your intro?
Hi, I'm Rebecca, and I play Keeper Sister Iris of Clan La Sombra. And, I'm just doing what I'm told.
Honestly, it's a smart plan. It's one way to live long in these games. I think with that, we have done our introductions, and we can move on to the game itself, starting with some music.
Indeed. Ooh.
On the Isle of Man, there is an ancient secret. One that has been kept for many centuries. Ancient legends that have called this land its home. For some, it is simply an island in the middle of the Irish Sea, home to few, and home and respite to even fewer. But there is something here that defies explanation, that defies logic and defies reason. Something dark, ancient, something that seeks to feast upon the souls of its victims. Now, this entity does not call this isle its home, but there are many others that do. But this one is always willing to make a deal to the desperate, an offering to the needy, and deal death to the unfortunate who dare cross its path. With that, we return back to the scene at hand, in which Iris and Randolph have found themselves in the strange catacombs. I didn't fuck up. Under the city of Douglas. In here, they found who they were looking for, Sir Oliver, their old friend or old ally, who mysteriously disappeared in the middle of the night. Now they have found him consorting with strange Canaanites, those capable of throwing hellfire from their very hands. They have found themselves in the clutches of the Bali, the ancient and secretive foe to all Canaanites. I think it's with that we can continue with trying to remember what happened last time. So before that, why don't someone do a recap?
I would love to do a recap
Honest?
because I'm running low on willpower and I need it soon.
Yeah, I think
Smart
we
Indeed. We began with last week's preamble watching a longship cutting through the dark waters of the Irish Sea, a dragon head at its bow, and Vikings aboard the ship. And something more. These were more than just Vikings, they were creatures of the night, at least in some cases, seeking to take back what was rightfully theirs, to strip it clean of the corruption within. And we know from what we have found that they might not have entirely succeeded. But they certainly did make landfall. Just as we eventually entered the city of Douglas. Going to speak with the Seneschal after making our announcement. The Seneschal was there with a knight who gave their name eventually as Sir Tancred, someone who had been wanting an audience with the prince for a little while, but had been given the cold shoulder, or so he told us. We had a conversation with him where we learned that he held a deep sadness within himself and sought to atone for past mistakes. He was a very trustworthy person, of course, so we decided to bring him along with us. But first, the scene shifted back to Peel, where Amir imparted secret information to the prince. Amir, one of the Banu Hakim, revealed that his true mission was to track down a traitor of clan and creed. An infernalist of sorts. He had a lead, and it pointed potentially to Douglas. There was worry, but time was not especially of the essence, and the prince believed in Iris and Randolph's ability to do what we could do. Sir Oliver, however, was there and embroiled in dark forces still. We switch again to us doing a little bit of investigation where Sir Tancred revealed that there were rumors of the prince disappearing for nights at a time with very little on what he was doing, no one able to track him down, but he turned up near the docks. Randolph, figuring that, given that they were hunting a quarry who eats exclusively Normans, that near the docks and around pockets of the Norman sailors and traders, we would find more clues. And they weren't missing near and around the catacombs of the city. The Sheriff of Douglas intervened for a brief moment, but fortunately Iris was good enough to make peace, even though there was some posturing about who or what was the alpha predator. It would have been me. Maud, back in Peel, looked over her adopted child. I hope it's not indelicate for me to say. Where Bride, going hunting along with Maud, showed a clear preference for drinking the blood of animals, as feeding from mortals was a violation to her, as well as noticing some odd bruises around the spine and the back. And then we switch again. We tracked Sir Oliver down through the catacombs, Iris, Randolph, and Sir Tancred heading through. And Sir Oliver didn't want to leave and was quite intent on us leaving him to his business. He said that we would never trust him in the council and that the sheer bloody-minded incompetence of Peel and the council there is what drove him away. Now, Randolph was very offended that he would talk about Iris like that, but there was... I love you. But there was a lot of conversation. However, we said that we were going to leave, but Randolph is a poor liar when it counts, and telegraphed his motivation to slink back and find out what was really going on with Sir Oliver and the Keeper of Douglas. But seeing that through, a fight began, immediately beginning with Sir Oliver commanding Iris to flee. She resisted long enough to make an apology, but Randolph was quite intent on beginning a fight to immobilize or impair. We began a fight, feral claws raking against the marble skin of the Ventru, doing no damage, and feeling the effects of presence, but resisting it as well. Sir Tancred rushed, rushed in to briefly hold the keeper hostage before a sinister grin crossed his face, as the third eye that was revealed when he began a combat began to emit a faint greenish blackish fire as he held the fireball in his hand, hurtling it towards Sir Oliver and Randolph both. Dodging out of the way, Rostec rolls were made, Sir Oliver and Randolph failing, Iris succeeding. And the fight still going on with no clear advantage, but certainly teetering on that knife's edge towards the infernalists within this city. One that might lead to a corruption deep into the heart of Prince Atticus's court. And that was it. Oh, there was also some conversation between Maud, Gwyneth, and the Tremere that is in the city. And there was a lot of back and forth about, we want to watch you do the procedure. I absolutely can't allow that, says the Tremere. Well, then we're at an impasse. The poor Tremere. I hate all Tremere, and
Yes.
Randolph will too soon enough. But he's getting a run around, the poor guy. But I believe eventually a stalemate and a compromise was forged. It will be done near them.
All right
And I
then.
think that's everything.
Wonderful. Thomas, you can have a point of willpower back for that lovely recap.
Thank you. I will need it, and I will immediately spend it the first moment I can act.
Smart plan. All right then. With that, I'm trying to remember where we ended off last time. I think we ended at the end of the round.
It was the end of Sir Tancred's attack. So he had casted Fireball, Randolph had dodged with his celerity action, and it's Iris's turn.
Does Iris have celerity?
Nope.
That's right. It was the end of the round, and we were in
Yeah.
celerity actions.
In that case, we go back to the top of the round with Sir Oliver going first. And Sir Oliver is going to spend a point of willpower to control himself for this round. And he's then going to swing his sword at you, Randolph.
He is currently clinched, I'm afraid.
Oh, he is clinched. Remind me what clinch does.
He can, on his turn, attempt to escape using a strength brawl roll, or he can cause strength damage automatically to me, because we are both in the clinch.
Oh, then he'll use strength against you. Strength damage to you. So it's strength. Is it plus anything, or is it just strength?
Just straight strength.
What if he had potence?
If it's potence, he would add potence.
Alright then. And it's just... Is there a roll for it?
Yep, it's just roll the strength plus potence as dice, or auto
Okay.
successes, as you will.
Let's go, Potence.
Alright then. He's going to spend a blood to activate potence. And then he's going to roll his strength.
Blood buff.
Actually, yeah, he is going to blood buff. Of course he is. Thanks, Drew.
Well, I built him, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense. Alright, let's go.
For the sake of Darul's, is this bashing or lethal?
This will be lethal, because he has potence.
Indeed. Let me roll my soak.
So that is a total of 5 successes. With his
Oh,
potence
indeed.
too.
Then it seems like you rolled 7 dice.
Yes, because he blood buffed himself 4 times.
Oh,
buff for
got
the
you,
strength.
because that's temporary stuff. Wait, if he
Yep.
blood buffed himself 4 times, then how could he activate the potence?
Because he
Oh, it's the start of the round. That's a good point.
Oh, I might have made a mistake. How much blood can you spend with Generation 7?
4.
In that
I
case, it would have
think.
been 1 less.
Doxing broadcast.
Alright. In that case, I was 1 off. So we're just gonna. Actually, I'll reroll.
It'll probably get more successes.
We'll see.
I'll cry.
Yeah.
No!
Yay!
Yeah.
Let's go.
Cry.
So 6 lethal.
Yes. See, 6 lethal damage.
I'm going to spend 1 point of blood to activate Fortitude.
All right. How much fortitude you have?
And 2.
2. All right. So you automatically get 2 successes against it.
Yep, and I will be rolling this.
So you need
Can I
4 more.
blood buff reflexively off of my turn?
I'm gonna say no. I think
In
going
that
forward,
case-
it's gonna be you can only blood buff on your turn. That way,
Indeed.
there is an advantage to catching someone off guard.
Very much so. Alright, let's do this. 4 successes.
All right. So you take 2 points of lethal damage.
Ow. I am...
However, you are in a
hurt,
frenzy,
I-
so you do not suffer from wound penalties.
Indeed.
You're in a fear frenzy, technically, but yeah.
Hey, I'll be in a different frenzy soon enough, baby.
We'll see. You're still trying to shake off the fear frenzy. Well,
I'm still
technically
trying
you
to
are
shake
in
off
fear
the
frenzy.
fear. Don't worry, I'm gonna be running away afterwards.
All right. With that, Randolph, it is your turn.
Spend 1 blood, activate celerity. With that, I'm currently at 12. I'm going to... I've already spent 1 for fortitude, and I'm going to keep another in the tank. But I am going to spend 1 towards strength. I'm going to release Sir Oliver from the clinch, moving up to Sir Tancred, and I'm going to claw him in the face.
Just to make sure, unclinching isn't an action, right?
I don't think it's an action. I think I can
Okay.
release it as a free thing.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, unless he wants to continue to... Yeah, if he used his action to grab onto me, it would be a different thing. But
Okay.
I had him help.
All right. All good then.
So I would like to spend a willpower to resist the fear frenzy, bringing me back down to 2. And
Buddy.
the beast that had lived inside Randolph for so long, that had gotten him this far, is pushed back with the same determination that Randolph, at one point, clung to life. Stabbing at something so much bigger and more powerful than he was, even when blood spilled out into the forest floor. I'm gonna try to stab the guy.
All right.
Striking with my claws.
Also, I realized we were doing celerity actions wrong.
Got you. Does it happen on the turn?
No, it doesn't actually give you extra turns. It just gives you it
Oh, yes,
ignores the
it
penalty
gives
for
you-
multiple actions.
Got you, that's right. In that case, I would like to attack twice.
That works.
So I'm going to claw him. I should have rolled 1 extra dice because would the wound apply?
Yeah. The wound
Okay,
would
cool.
not apply, so you can roll an extra d10.
Yeah. That is currently... Oh, nice. That is 3 successes. That is 4 successes. No, wait. 5 successes, sorry.
5 successes. He is gonna use actually. Yeah, he's gonna use his. He's gonna reflexively use his blood to activate celerity.
Okay.
He's going to attempt to dodge your attack.
Let's do it.
I also want to double check something because you might actually have more. So I need to check how celerity works. Reading through it, I realized I misunderstood how celerity worked.
Yeah, I know how it is in V20, but Dark Ages V20 is slightly different.
Yeah.
If you could look it up while I'm also looking at what I'm trying to look up armor.
Roger
as well.
Dodger.
Thank you.
Yeah, additionally, they may reflexively spend 1 point of blood to ignore difficulty penalties. So I think it... Yeah, I think you can also add it to your dice pools as well.
I think so as well.
I
Yeah.
have
So you
been...
should add your celerity
Yeah.
to as well. It's good way we're
let
going
me
through this.
roll-
Now
You
that
don't
we're...
send the blood, I
Exactly.
think. It's
Yeah, you
similar
don't
to
have to send the blood.
Potions, yeah.
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 Yeah. But I think if you spend the blood, you can't
Um,
add it to your pool.
Yeah. If you
still
Actually-
5 successes.
also double check if you spend the blood for it, you can still add it to the pool.
It doesn't say you can't.
In that case, I
Like,
think you
in
can.
V20, it says specifically, alternatively. Here it says additionally.
Okay. So yeah, that seems alright then. Alright then. In that case, he is going to attempt to dodge your attack. Specifically, he's going to attempt to parry.
Luckily, I'm not punishing
Alright.
him with my hands. I'm clawing him with my fingers.
Yeah. So you don't get your hands cut off.
Possibly.
Possibly. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. Alright. Starting. Alright. And he has a negative to his dex equal to that for his armor. Alright.
I believe... I just need him to die before I retreat. After that, I can go back in and kill, Eloise.
LOLs.
LOLs.
LOLs. This is the fun part of Vampire, isn't it? Combat.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's what we all get into White Wolf roleplays for.
Exactly.
The
This
fights.
is what we're here for. Here we go.
I'm a caitiff, and my disciplines are celerity, potence, and fortitude.
Exactly.
Ooh,
6
very
successes.
nice.
Ooh, I hate that.
6 successes, completely parries. My second attack, however, is coming in.
Alright. And he will attempt to parry this one as well with his first celerity extra thing, so he doesn't have the negatives for splitting his actions.
Mm-hmm. Let me actually just turn my wound down so it rolls the proper amount of dice.
Yeah. I think you can also turn off wound penalties on the actual roll.
Oh yes, that's
You
right.
can, yeah.
Oh, bad. 3 successes.
Oh!
Eh?
You only parried with 1, so you get 1 hit. So, roll your damage at a plus nothing.
Let's do it.
And then he will
plus
roll
1.
a plus 1. Check which one is...
Come on, I need this.
Believe in you.
Okay, that's 4 aggravated damage. He only
Okay.
soaks with fort and his armor.
That's right. Right, so we're just gonna do plus his armor. Make sure I get these right. But with his knight's armor, I believe he has a +3.
That is correct.
Indeed, it's good stuff. As he lashes out with his claws lightning fast, the first one deflected. He snarls, but it's not the same animalistic one, because he's trying to fight that back. Die, damn you!
3 successes.
Ooh.
1 ag to him.
1 aggravated damage. As you do cut in, you hear him hiss as you see the eye on his forehead begin to bleed blood.
Knife in your face!
You really couldn't have just let this go. I didn't want it to have to come to this, but you forced my hand.
You're the thing that's been haunting me my whole life, aren't you? Or you serve it.
I don't know what you're talking about. Would you like to use a third action, or do you want to save that for dodge?
I can only use, I think, half rounded up for attack actions. So my third is going to be for a dodge, unless I
Okay.
can mark the third action as a grapple. But I think that would be an attack.
I think that counts as an attack.
Then it's going to be
Alright.
safe for dodging.
Alright then. Next up on the initiative, Eloise. She's gonna look to you, looks at Sir Oliver, and then looking back at you, she is going to attempt. So she knows you're in mid-frenzy. Yeah, she's gonna take Sir Oliver's hand and begin dragging him towards the back door. Door at the back wall. With that, we get to Sir Tancred, who is going to, with his final action, levy his hand against you, Randolph. I hope you're ready.
I am. I've got a dodge action. We'll see how it goes.
I need to double check.
I believe I was in the last game.
Here we go. He is going to boost his dexterity. And then he is going to use Tormented Essence against you.
Ooh.
6 successes. Would you like to attempt to dodge?
I would like to attempt to dodge. I think that would be a good thing for me to do.
Smart line.
3 successes.
3 successes, so only 3 hits. So this will be a +2 to damage. Get the power. Here we go.
Not to shoot myself in the foot, he can spend blood to boost the damage of the attack. However, he might not be able to
Shut
at the moment.
Let me double check. Because you're right on that. You're right on that he can do that. But I don't think he's going to. Because his aim isn't to kill you. Here we go.
Where do you want to
Okay.
get items?
So this is going to be... Yeah, 3d10 with the amount of blood you spent on it.
I am the hunter. There's a fly flying around. It's breaking my rhythm.
And he's going to spend a point of willpower for another success. So
All
that's
right.
1.
All right.
A point of aggravated.
I'm going to roll my soak flat, just using my fortitude.
Just your fortitude for this one.
I do have a spare blood. Probability is not my friend. I'm going to spend that point of blood to auto soak 2, going through the fire, taking no damage.
Alright. You don't need to make a Rorschach check because you're already in Rorschach.
Exactly.
But it hurts like a motherfucker. You can
It
feel
really does.
what is like almost your soul burning from the inside.
As it tears, like, not harming his skin, not crackling his flesh, but burning away at his rags and cloak. He grits his teeth, eyes filled with a seething hatred that is embarrassingly human.
Just narrows his eyes at you. Do yourself and everyone else a favor. Run. Else,
Keep him busy.
fine then. This ends here. What? Iris, it's your turn. Oh, Iris, I need you to make another Rorschach roll.
F.
Difficulty 8 against the flames.
So the dice, that's the amount of dice I have, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Very nice.
No, I think that's...
That was at difficulty 4, however.
Yeah. So it has 4 on the thing, so... Difficulty, what was it? 7 or 8?
Difficulty 8.
8.
Nice.
Right.
2. It's enough to hold it back for the moment.
And then as my go, Iris is going to look at the torch in her hand and say, Randolph, Doc. I don't know if you can, but she's gonna throw.
We'll see
the
how well you
torch
roll first.
At Sir Tancred.
Alright. In that case, this will be a dexterity and... is there a throne?
There is. I think it's athletics. It could also be archery. Let me check.
I think it'd probably more likely to be athletics than archery.
Yeah, I do think so too.
Athletics is better.
Yeah, athletics.
How much better?
Specialties thrown offense. So yeah.
The music got really loud again.
Sorry,
No, it's okay.
so it can actually be heard on stream, but I don't know if it can.
So dexterity, athletics, and standard diff.
Yep, standard diff.
I am spending a point of willpower.
Alright.
Three successes.
Nice.
3 successes. Alright then. You throw the torch at him. Are you attempting to like hit him in the head or in the body or something, or just like use it to basically scare him off?
If I can hit the body, great. But but like, I I think the intent is to make him run away as well.
With that, the torch goes flying as it hits his tavern, and we see it begin to light a little as he looks down and starts like quickly patting at it.
You like it. I think in the flickering balefire light and the orange light which is beginning to spread, you can see Randolph
No, that's
share
the
a
one, that's
savage
okay.
grin with you for a second.
Randolph, do what, Mayo?
Share a savage grin with you for a second.
There we go. That's right.
Instinct and not courage?
Oh shit! You're right. That was a wrong either way.
Roller coaster.
Success. Now he hasn't lost it to the beast, but he's on the fucking edge.
That's where we live, baby.
And I think as Iris.
Oh,
doesn't
Iris,
have
do you
the
spend a
letter-
point of willpower to ignore the command that was implanted in you by Sir Oliver?
Oh, do I still have to do that? Because,
Oh, that's right. He lost concentration. That's right.
no,
Never mind. Hold
yeah.
on.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. And then I think that's all Iris can do because she does not have celerity.
All right then. But that's Sir Oliver's turn. Spends a point of willpower and uses it to get him and Eloise away into the back doors. With that, Randolph, it's your turn.
Spending another point of blood for celerity, spending another willpower to resist the fear frenzy. This is going to be the last round. If I can't beat him this one, I'm retreating voluntarily or not. 1 point of blood for that. 1 point of blood to... No. 2 points of blood towards my strength. 1 point of blood towards my dexterity.
Alright.
Going from 11 to 7. I am going to try to smack him with my rhythm claws.
He is going to attempt to parry.
8 successes.
Knocks it down to 4. Roll plus 3.
Uh, 2 successes after
That's right,
specialties.
Yeah. 2 successes. Rolls against it. He soaks.
Got you. Alright, second attack. Okay, 8 successes.
8 successes. 1 success. Plus 7.
Let's
could be it.
do this. This has to be. If it isn't, then
Babes.
we retreat. Ah,
Oh,
2
bad roll.
successes.
He soaks. Your final action?
My final action is... I still do have 1 point of willpower, but after I spend that, things get bad real quick. I think with my last action, I'm probably going to use it to back away before I can, Oh, actually, no. If I back away and he throws fire at me, then he'll hit me. It will be to dodge.
Alright then. With that, up next, Sir Tancred with his last action. He levels his hand up to you again, the flashing green within his palm, as he says, "You should have run when you had the chance. Now you get to burn in hell with the rest of them." Alright. He's going to spend 4 points of blood to this.
Indeed.
Here we go.
14 dice with 2
He's going to spend a point of
successes
willpower as
inside
an
of
order
that.
success to this.
Let's do it.
6 successes.
7 successes.
And at the last moment, you pull yourself out of the way as this flaming ball of hellfire splashes against the stone pillar behind you and melts it until there's this giant hole in the stone.
Randolph wants to see the outwords, like a promise that he will return, that he's going to kill this, but he simply does not have the time before the beast that he's quite close to wrenches control of him, and the fear frenzy takes hold.
Before that, though, Iris, it is your turn. I need you to make another fear frenzy check.
0 successes.
You can spend a point of willpower to keep acting for this turn, or you can let your beast take over.
Just gonna spend that point of willpower, and then grab Randolph. Say, "We need to go," and then activate Nocturne and plunge Tancred into darkness and run away with Randolph. That's her plan.
Alright. With that, the two of you run. It is only a moment as you manage to run through before the beast takes over and you begin to run faster. You can feel the blood flowing through you desperately to make your limbs move as fast as they can, if not faster. You can feel the stretching of muscles beyond the point that they would normally be able to be used. And for you, Randolph, you immediately begin running on your hands as well, like an animal, like a beast running across. Exactly, it's that. Until eventually you arrive outside of the catacombs, near the water, and the beast decides you are no longer in danger. I'd like one of you to roll me a d10 and tell me high or low.
Would you do the honors?
I'll roll if you'd say high or low.
Hi. The highest.
Alright.
Yes.
As you arrive outside, you see that the entire area is clear. There doesn't seem to be any night stragglers at night that might have been there to spot you in that moment of frenzy. And you do not hear any footsteps from behind you.
The claws recede back into his hands as Randolph, wresting that tenuous control back from the beast, snarls as his eyes dart around looking for people before turning back to the catacombs.
I think Iris much the same. Like, her pupils are just dilated fully, just in that moment of adrenaline and fear. if she had a heartbeat, it would be slowly resuming a normal rhythm. But the fear ebbs away, still has that aura of, adrenaline drop. I think we're okay, bots. We can't stay. We
No.
need to get back.
The three-eyed monster, whatever he is, that fire wasn't normal. He's in league with them, with the things.
Devils.
Whatever Sir Oliver's involved in, whatever Keeper Eloise is involved in, this goes deep into their court. And they know we're onto us now. I couldn't silence them. I don't often fail, Iris, and this time I did.
I won't say it's okay, because I don't think platitudes are the correct thing right now. It is frustrating, and I equally blame myself for not being able to see it. Why don't I ever see it?
His betrayal was obvious. His power was not. But you're right, we have to go. I don't know who can be trusted within Douglas, but I do know this. There are threats lurking here, bubbling from underneath. We can trust nothing that was told to us by Sir Tancred, but I need to feed, and doing it here is likely to cause a great deal of problems. The patient hunter is the one who gets his prey, and I intend to.
Oh,
Sir
also, for
Tancred
you
or
both,
whoever he is.
running out of those catacombs, you both would have spent 3 points of blood. So you're 3 points of blood down.
Randolph is quite hungry indeed.
Yeah.
The beast is not subtle.
It is. Iris is exactly at half. Or, yeah, right at half.
Under normal circumstances, I'd suggest making our way to the docks and out through the water. However,
No, that's a bad
does not
idea.
suit you.
I don't. I can't.
I know. Thus, we make our way out the gates. We subsist off of the wilderness. We see how things go. Unless you think word should be given to the higher-ups here, if they can be trusted.
Part of me wants to show faith. Maybe there's a chance that they don't know. But if they know what we were doing, and we're alive, they already know that we know. So, a message could only speed away their finding out. And if they don't know, they're not involved. It is a needed olive branch between us, knowing that we fight the same enemy. So, it is either a feather in our cap, or it does nothing.
We're not strong enough to fight a concerted effort. We'll split the difference. We leave, we send word back when we can. That way, if the axe comes down, we'll be in a place they won't expect.
Agreed. That we should possibly send word to our prince. Let them
It'll
know
be done.
that there are infernalists running about.
Aye. Strange times. Rose will go ahead of us, and we'll follow shortly after. But we can't stay here.
Encrypted in some sort of cipher. The prince will figure it out. They're smart.
The prince can talk to Rose, same as me.
All right then. No written message required.
And I think hungry, on the verge of
Mhm.
not quite starvation, but very close indeed. Randolph is going to make his way, as well as with Iris, out of the city. He has a very, 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 very small tolerance of seeing a mortal and then immediately going to eat them, and he is going to use that to escape the city and maybe feed off animals within the wilderness that he calls to himself, ideally.
Ideally.
Why don't you make me an instinct roll?
Let's do it.
This will be
Difficulty?
7.
Let's do it. If I... Can I not spend a willpower? And if I fail, then spend a willpower to resist the frenzy? Or would it be better off to...
Because you need to get a certain amount of successes. You can spend willpower to guarantee a success.
Instinct is my best roll, which means hubris will bite me in the ass. So I'm going to roll it flat. 1 success.
Roll it again until you get a total of 5 successes.
3 successes. I think you can see it as the lanterns... 0 successes there. Shall I keep going? Or is that the...
I'm gonna say, because it's not... I'll say you can spend a point of willpower. But not frenzy.
I will spend a point of willpower. Because I'm not on the road of the beast. I'm on the path of the hunter. Frenzying in the middle of a city is bad juju for everyone involved.
Just check your path first.
Heal. Oh yes, good point.
Yeah, path level 1, refusing to feed when hungry.
Oh, got you. Well, he's not refusing to feed, he's pushing it back later. That's a good point. With that in mind, he might try to sneakily eat.
Okay. In that case, you can have your point of willpower back.
Okay, very good.
Because it makes sense that you wouldn't actively go against your path without knowing.
Yeah, because while I don't want to, like, break through the market square, like, chasing children and chickens,
Yeah.
I want to be in a good
Clockwork
position.
or something.
Yeah, you want to be smart about it, but it's that thing where you can't ignore it. You can't just hold it off and be like, I'll feed later. It's like, the beast's like, no, you gotta feed now. Eat now.
Very good point.
Iris will go towards the forest edge while you do that, just to avoid provoking hunger frenzy on her part.
Indeed. But yes, Randolph will look for food. He would prefer to not kill his prey. That's not really his highest priority. His highest priority is getting enough to slake the hunger.
In that case, then it will be an instinct roll.
Indeed. Okay. I imagine he finds some form of vagrant.
You would be able to. Actually, roll me a d10. Tell me high or low.
Low.
Okay.
3.
In that case, you find yourself a vagrant. This seems to be off on their own near the canal.
The canal, great place for drunks, great place for those who hunt them. There is a moment where, like Friday the 13th, the water breaks, grabbing his ankle, pulling him under.
Yeah. Pull him under the water. In that case, I don't think he's going to survive it either way, so you could just drink him till he's dead.
I think I might.
Oh, actually, the big difference would be if you drank him till he's dead, he would be an insanguinated corpse, and that would give away that a vampire has been feeding. Of course, you can feed most of his blood. In that case, it just looks like he drowned.
Yeah, I'll
It's
feed
about
most of his blood and hopefully...
how paranoid
yeah,
you
it's
be.
about balance.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think he will be paranoid. He doesn't want it to look. He really doesn't want to cause a mess in a city. Not at this
Yeah.
point. He will drink 8 points of blood, I will say.
Okay. 8 points of blood.
And while he's in the canal, he will laden the vagrant's pockets with stones.
Mhm. Easily enough.
I am certain this vagrant had a family and a livelihood and a life, but here and now he's food. Food, and once the blood is gone, an inconvenient corpse.
Exactly. The beast doesn't care. It's not important.
Exactly. By draining 8 points of blood, I gain 12.
Yes, indeed.
And I go from being hungry to the point of starving to quite full indeed. Through the canal, I slink out of the city and
Very nice.
rejoin Iris.
And then we see a very drenched Randolph. Here's another thing to consider. Roll me. Actually, not even gonna say roll me. You're very wet, and it's pretty cold. You need to find yourself to like dry off, or there's a possibility you could freeze solid.
There
you're not
is a
careful.
possibility I could freeze solid. I think if it comes to that point, he'll just sink into the earth.
Okay.
But he's confident enough in his abilities as an outdoorsman, as well as, I'll say, as he leaves the canal slinking over to Iris, there's a moment where he does like the full body dog
Yeah.
shape.
Yeah. Roll me a wit survival.
Let's do it. Would travel as a specialty count?
I'll allow it.
Botch.
Yeah. So I think there's like a moment as you're making it through the journey where Iris, you look to Randolph, and Randolph looks like straight out of oh, what's that film? I want to say very famous.
Avatar?
No, it's a horror film or thriller.
The
Shining?
Shining?
The Shining, just Jack at the end of The Shining, just like
Mhm.
snow, ice covered eyebrows, icicles beginning to to cover all over him.
Iris wears layers. I think she would take the first one off and offer it to him. Like, I know you're larger, but please, you're my
there's
leader.
There's no chattering of teeth. There's no autonomic process to show how frozen he is. Just
Other
the fact
than,
that
like,
there are
the-
icicles and
The
things.
slight
Yeah,
sounds of cracking of as he's moving, as his muscles have started to freeze over.
I think, because without too much pride, this isn't a bad. Well, his failing was the elements beating him, not
Mhm.
that he's getting assistance. I think he will, with a almost like a horrible stop motion as he powers through the cracking of his joints. He will take the layers that Sister Iris has dressed in and insulate himself a little more. With your permission, Mark, people on these paths don't generally blush of life. But can he will the blood with an expenditure of things to kind of circulate and keep warm?
Not on the road of the beast.
Then he will not. He will bundle up as best he can and continue.
Because you're on instinct and conviction, so I'd say definitely not.
Yeah.
I think,
Pashmina's
yeah, that was lost.
slightly burned from the hellfire.
Yeah. It's an odd mix of like a slight singed burnt clothing, but covered in snow and ice. With that, I'm going to say you guys make your way back, mostly uneventfully, as we see
Could
you
I make a
returning.
hunting roll with Randolph's assistance?
Uh,
Okay.
I'm going to say it's not needed for this time,
Okay.
as you guys make your way back to Peel. Go ahead.
Presumably with Ragnar and Rose
Yeah,
sending
Ragnar joins you.
advance warning if necessary.
Absolutely. They're helping you get there.
Yeah, Randolph is 100% going to tell Ragnar the weird three-eyed thing through green flame. It's awful.
I meant for eating.
Sounds bad.
Oh,
Avoid.
got you. If Iris needs assistance in eating, I can call of the wild if necessary.
All right.
I can try to do a hunting roll first, and then, if necessary.
Do a hunting roll.
Let's just do both.
Hunting in the wild would be which survival?
Let me just briefly... Call of the Wild. I think it's Charisma Survival, but I could be wrong.
Okay. Oh, also, Randolph. For the time being, you have a -2 to all dex rolls,
Indeed.
as you are frozen stiff.
2 successes.
2 successes. All right, you managed to find yourself a little rabbit to feed upon.
If rabbit's what you want. 2 successes. Oh, can you hear the dogs whining? I don't know what's going on.
A little in the distance.
A quarter of the
but
animals
it's not
within
very loud.
earshot respond. I'm actually going to check on the dogs real
No
quick.
problem.
I'm very sorry.
Do so.
But I'll say with that, a number of wild animals appear for you to feed upon Iris. How many drops of blood would you be going for? And you're about half, right?
I'm about half, yeah.
In that case, make me a...
Can I do the rabbit first?
Sure thing.
Because I don't think she cares about the rabbit so much.
Alright. Also just general self-control roll.
Sure.
Difficulty 4.
Uh, 2 successes.
Okay. Roll again. So you get 5 successes.
Okay. 1, 6.
That's enough.
Alright.
Alright, you are in control of yourself and you can feed, from the rabbit, get about 2 points of blood from it completely.
That's enough to kick me above half.
You can feed from more of the animals that are here.
Yeah. I would like to, maybe take, 3 or 4 more.
Alright. You can do
I
that
can do
from the
so
numerous
without-
animals.
Wonderful.
After which the animals do run away back into the wild.
Yeah, perfect.
The ones that are
Yeah.
alive at least.
Iris will, give them a nice little, well, no, she won't, because I'll freak them out unless they're docile from Call of the Wild, but she might take advantage of that to just sort of gently pet whatever sort of animal is there in thanks, and then... Sorry. And send it
Easy
back.
enough. I think with that, as we pull away from Randolph and Iris making their way back to Peel, we will focus in on a collection of Gwynedd, Maud, and Snorri. What would you all be up to during this time? Is there anything you guys would like to achieve?
Now that Snorri's back, does he want to do his examination of Bride before we meet Oswald for the Tremere version?
If we're even doing that.
I'll do it.
Is
Not with bread, you won't.
That is
You fucking try.
as you request. Will have brought a few tomes with him to, as he's been reading up on how to do this, which is why he not join Iris and Randolph on their mission. Turns towards Maud. I can see if I can find her essence. And anything else you would like to know. But it's your will, not mine.
Of course. I apologize for how I reacted earlier. I misinterpreted what you meant, as I'm sure Sister Iris passed on.
We're protecting what is yours. There's no need for apologies. Agree. Thank
Of
you.
course.
And he's gonna go about going through anything Bride has and seeing if he can get any connection to her, whether it be spiritual or through medium, anything of that nature, or ocular abilities.
Alright. She doesn't have much on her.
Did Maud share about the marks on her back? I can't remember.
She did, yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure she did,
So,
and if
sorry.
she hadn't already, she'd relay that there. Let me find the specific thing I took note of. Yeah, there are, I think, bits of her skin, particularly on her lower back and hips, that are markings. Some of them kind of slightly darker in places. Physical, not spiritual.
Almost like bruises, but not quite.
Mm-hmm.
Can I do some form of medicine check on that, or what would you like me to roll as I look those over?
Why don't you make me the roll for your sight beyond sight.
Okay.
Which I believe will be. Here we go. Intelligence and enigmas. So that will be 8 dice, and you will have specialty in this. From both
And what's the
analytical
difficulty? I'm
and
sorry.
purposes. The difficulty is difficulty 8.
What's my current willpower at?
I believe it's at. Let me double check. It is at 5.
Okay, I'll spend 1 for an auto success.
Alright. So that is.
Did I get any specialties on that?
6 success. Yep. Specialty for
Is that
prophecies
2 10s?
and analysis. So 6 successes. As you're kind of looking at the markings, you reach out to trace a finger along them. And as you do, you instinctively make the shape of a crescent moon. with this in your third eye, if you will, you see a vision of a large tree. A tree, from it hangs what looks to be a pomegranate. Pomegranate. I do words well.
Do.
You see as a figure reaches up to grab it and slowly begins to pull it from the tree. As you watch the stem that connects it begin to tear and rip before finally breaking away. And as it does, from the pomegranate spills out a deluge of blood. Blood that covers the whole garden, that covers the whole world. The final deluge. The end of endings. The final days for all Canaanites. Gehenna. With that, your vision is quickly pulled back into yourself. And you know that whatever this is, it is dangerous. And it means she is dangerous. She is a sign of something extremely bad.
How much, with his studies, and the revelations of the books that they come from, how much does that tie to the myth? That makes sense. Trying to speak in vagaries.
Yeah. Enough. I think in that case, I probably used the wrong term in your mind. The term you would have thought that would have come to mind would be Ragnarok.
Right.
But you could make the connection.
Yeah. Turns. Looking past the prince. Maud. And in Norse language did he choose to speak? I can't remember, sorry. Old Norse or something, right?
You speak Norse, yeah. You speak
And
Norse language.
Norse will speak to Maud. The markings are that. The beginning of Ragnarok and the end. Crescent
Don't remember, do
moon.
I know?
Hmm?
I was gonna ask, do I know Norse? I couldn't
Uh,
fucking remember what I know.
well, you know,
I think you know
Gaelic.
something because weren't you reading the runes? Weren't you reading the runes
I
earlier?
think, yeah, I think you do speak.
That you were.
No, it's either you speak Norse or I know Iris does.
Iris does. I don't think I read the runes. I think
Yeah,
I kind
so
of
I
like...
don't think more you
I
would
don't think-
understand enough Norse because of your teacher and who your sire is.
Yes, yes.
You would understand the words Ragnarok.
Yep.
That literally
Sure
means the end of the world.
Mhm.
The final battle, the
Yeah.
end of all. And that, as
Yep.
a Valkyrie, you are supposedly going to play an important part during Ragnarok. At least according to your sire's teachings.
Yep, exactly. Cool. Sorry for interrupting.
No, it's
Oh,
all
you're
good.
fine. If that's the gist you get, that's enough. So, no need to ramble further. We should speak privately about her condition.
With that, Brad
As he's
turns around.
just
So, is everything okay?
looks towards Maud.
Right.
How much does the
Everything's
prince
fine.
understand of what they're saying?
How much of Norse do you speak? Do you speak Norse, one of your languages?
It's lingua franca. It just says
Oh,
lingua franca.
You understand quite a bit of it then. I'd say you'd understand what he's saying.
He's not trying to keep it from her, so it's or him. That's fine.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Maud.
Everything's fine. She'll kind of like rest a hand on her shoulder.
Nori turns towards her, towards Bride. Gets a half grin on his lips. It's quite possible you've been given a great gift, a role to play. And he'll turn and walk out of the room with no further explanation.
When is this gonna follow, Snorri? You have a little talk with Bride to calm her down.
Alright. And with that, what are you, Maud? As Bride looks very concerned.
Yeah. Yep. I think she'll just turn to her, kind of like keeping that hand on her shoulder. You're gonna be fine. I promised I wouldn't let any harm come to you. It's nothing bad, just interesting.
Okay. Alright. Well, I believe you.
Does she believe me?
Make a perception and empathy.
Ooh, thank goodness. Okay, perception,
Difficulty
empathy.
7.
Yeah, perception, empathy.
Yep.
Cool, difficulty 7. Alright. 1 success.
She seems to be telling the truth.
Yeah,
You have no reason to believe she's lying to you. Or
Very
being
true.
intentionally deceptive.
exactly. Maud kind of nods, the ghost of a smile on her expression. She kind of gives her shoulder a squeeze before kind of like moving to lead her out of the kind of like meeting room.
Alright. I assume you then go off to whatever it is you plan to do next.
Pretty much, I think.
Alright.
Yeah.
Back to business as usual.
Yeah.
Alright. In that case, we will cut back to the Prince and Snorri, as Gwynedd is following behind Snorri. Snorri is wandering down the hall.
Snorri was leaving the room to give Maud time to calm Bride.
Alright.
He wasn't going to do it himself, but he is very aware that Maud needs to be part of this conversation. So he wouldn't have gone far.
In that case, while you're in the hallway, you would see the Prince leaving the room.
Would you care to share more about what you just saw?
Yes. I only did not want to scare
Of course.
the young woman. In some ways, it'd be the very hand that plucks the fruit, brings the end to us all. Blood covering the earth, the world. Some may call it Ragnarok. Some may call it Gehenna. Every faith, Every belief system has a word for it.
Gwyneth, make an intelligence occult roll. Difficulty 8. This is specifically when it says the word Gehenna.
Like that's the last roll I did.
That was also the
I don't
last
know
result
shit.
you got on that.
Yep.
I don't know shit.
Yeah.
It's an odd thing, but apparently I don't.
So, as he does say the word Gehenna, that means nothing to you. It's absolutely nothing. He's making a lot of references to things that don't make too much sense to your understanding and your own personal research. I think the main thing you realize is you're going to have to do a lot more research on these topics personally to know more about them. But from what
He
you
knows
just pulled from your
Ragnarok, at
mindscape.
least.
Yeah, you know, yeah, I'd say you know Ragnarok because you've researched it. I think we had that come up for a bit. But Gehenna would definitely not be a word you recognize.
Surely then she is the fruit and not the hand.
Shakes his head. No.
He shakes his head yes or no.
No.
Okay.
Maybe both. However, would be wise of us to keep with us.
Of course. Was always the intention.
And
My vision was of a clawed hand crushing a rose. It's not too terribly different.
she will need to be watched. Do not wish to snuff out the flame. It could burn bright. However, we will also not let the fire consume us all.
I'm not terribly concerned about Bride, though your point is taken. I'm still far more concerned with who did this. That's where my investigation is going to continue.
I believe that to be a mistake. Need to watch both. But it's your will and your decision to make. I only give you the things I know.
I'm merely saying where my focus personally lies, not what I'm going to advise the rest of the council to do, and of course, as her caretaker, Maud will, I'm sure, have close eyes on Bride. We can speak about that further when she returns.
Just gives you a nod. Very unassuming pose.
The three of us should speak later.
I will stay in the castle until that happen.
And I would say, considering what you've just seen, it may be wise to hold off on the Tremir's offer.
As a man of science, so to speak, this is prophecy. Two are not the same thing. As far as her clan and who she came from, he might be able to tell you more. As far as what it all means. We'll keep digging until he comes up with a reason. Dig more. This is his way.
I'm not sure I trust what he might find after this, or trust him to share it with us. But we can discuss it further when Maud returns.
Very well. And he finds a corner of, like, the hallway ends, or a room enters, or some form of corner to slide his back down. As it cracks as he does so, pulls out one of the tomes that he carried, large books, and opens it, digging through, trying to gain more understanding of the things he's seen, and also just considering what that all means.
Yeah. Gwyneth will go to his library.
Right then. Is there anything anyone would like to do in the meantime before Iris and Randolph return?
I think Snorri would like to talk to Maud at some point, but it could be before or after matter.
I think it'd work.
Yeah.
Where would you approach Maud?
Where would Maud be?
I think she would keep Bride company for a while, but would eventually kind of like leave her in to kind of like her own devices, but kind of lingering nearby.
Alright.
Enough so that she's like, no, I'm just gonna like sneak away. But I think probably like in the hallways.
In that case, Snorri, you run across Maud. Go ahead.
When she exits their room, or council chambers, or wherever she's coming out of,
Probably a room.
Snorri would stand up immediately, loud cracking of his bones. Was a ripping of muscle as he stands. Odd. We need to speak further. Tilts his head to the side. Are you comfortable entering another chamber, or would you rather do it in the hallway so you can keep your eyes on the door?
Another chamber works fine. I'm just keeping an eye.
Nods. We'll go to the first door that he finds. Merc.
Easy enough.
There are people
Find
like
an
that.
empty room.
Oh, it will be empty.
Get out.
There's dead bodies on the floor.
I am the crypt keeper. You will leave one way or another. When he goes inside, I know it takes time. Actually, I think that he would take a moment. I don't know how long the new ritual lasts, or how long it takes to prepare and do. I think for this conversation, he wants that ritual up.
Alright. In that case, Thomas, would you be able to help him with what that ritual does and how to do it? I could have fixed Nightbot. Nightbot being a bitch.
Nightbot, no.
Nightbot,
good.
you slattered.
Which
So
ritual
rude.
specifically?
Or the silencing whale, whatever. The
Oh,
newest
got you.
ritual.
Din of the Damned.
Yeah.
Yes.
Din of the Damned. The ritual seals any space against attempts at eavesdropping. You must draw an unbroken line of ashes on the ground within a room. So long as that line remains unbroken, no one outside of that line can hear anything going on inside. The only thing the would-be eavesdropper hears are faint echoes of the underworld.
Great.
A listener can use supernatural means such as auspex, rolling against your successes, and if they botch that roll, they are deafened for the rest of the night. Just imagine, like, putting your ear up to the door, trying to eavesdrop on a conversation, and then all you hear is the voices of thousands of unquiet dead just going, ah! Blowing out your undead eardrums.
So, entering the
I think
room,
they were listening to the immigrant song really loudly. Sorry.
that's what, as Maud enters the room behind him, he shuts the door slowly, taking out of his many pouches, spreading a very thick line of ash around the exterior wall of the room, chanting in some unknown language. What's the roll on that, Thomas?
The roll is the same as most of the rituals. It's intelligent occult at difficulty 5. Intelligent occult. Intelligence occult.
Intelligent.
What's the
Gotta be
difficulty?
Clever occult. 5. It's a level 2 ritual, so it's difficulty 5. No, sorry. I speak wrong. It's difficulty 6. It's a level 3 ritual. Curse my memory. Unfortunately, I think with those ones you get 0 successes.
Have 2 ones?
Yeah.
Then he just doesn't know that it doesn't work. It's fine.
It's fine. It works. It totally works.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Probably fine. Probably definitely fine.
Yes.
Um,
Fine.
I'm
yeah,
not
failure
12 10.
produces. Indeed. Failure produces no effect. A botch may produce disastrous results. So, it'd be up to Mark on whether or not you know the magic didn't take.
I'm not gonna worry about it. We'll roleplay on and let Mark fix
Yeah.
Nightbot.
Mhm.
You have an issue. What, if anything, do you know about prophecies, the end of the world?
I know a bit. My sire spoke of it.
Or word bride. Some form of catalyst. Don't know if it's her kind or her directly. I've seen from the symbols you showed me on her form, reaching up and taking fruit from the tree. From that, the end days start. It is prophesized in all forms of culture and people. And many of them are very much the same to this. However, there is something interesting and peculiar,
Peculiar.
or our very own Freya. You would know her once. Is known to have plucked the fruit from the trees. eaten the fruit from the ground. Whether Odin agreed with it or not. Getting all of the knowledge. And becoming almost his equal. Actually, greater than he, for she was much more wily and fair. And during these times, there was a recreation of sorts of the world. This bride that cycle. It would do us well to make sure she stays safe, but also protected from herself.
I'll make sure of that.
Simply respect you. Did not want to leave you out of understanding what I have told the prince.
Of course.
Should you need further information, need further protection, spirits of our ancestors will provide.
If I need that protection, I'll let you know. But I did have one question.
Yes.
You said you spoke with the prince about this. How'd he react?
He seems less concerned about what bride could be. He seems to be more curious about how this happened to her, as if somebody did this to her.
Somebody did do this to her.
Somebody made her of us. It's true. That may or may not have anything to do with the prophecy.
Right. But I think considering the circumstances, I think it's pretty damning on the person who made her instead of her herself.
You have no argument from me, Valkyrie. Knowing what she is and what she could lead to, sacrificing her for no reason doesn't solve anything. At least not until we know the full story. Because that could very well be the fruit being plucked from the tree. That, I have no answers at the current moment.
That we don't. But know this, regardless of what we find out, I won't let her be sacrificed or tossed aside in any way. I made that vow to her.
snuffing out light. Someone who was meant for great things. The crime was horrid. Need not fear that with me. I only hope that the world will not be consumed in flames. However, he smiles. I only deal with death. And while she has died, she has risen. What comes next in her life is not for me to decide. Her education should be tended to, though. If she's kept in the dark forever, she may unknowingly put herself in danger. He shrugs.
It's been attended to as best as I'm able. I'm not. She's not my actual childer. I'm doing the best I can, and I think it would be... I'd appreciate it as well if the prince helped a bit in that regard. Considering.
I believe that's the princess in their library. Hopefully, Randolph and Iris will make their way home soon. While he kind of rolls his eyes a little bit, or at least the one non-creepy eye, right? Well, I... 4 unnecessary meetings. If you all plan to keep the city, you should be made aware of it. I will back you on
Of
this.
course.
It's a pleasure. I'll nod and open the door, kicking the unuseful Ash out of the way, as if he had done something great.
Maud nods in return before also making her way to the exit.
Alright. With that, Iris and Randolph return to the city. Just in time.
Is it safe to guess that?
Okay.
Is it safe to guess that Rose beat them there?
Yeah. Rose would have beat them back.
So I would say that Gwyneth would call a council after hearing what Rose says.
In which case, the council arrives just in time for Iris and Randolph to arrive as well.
They instinctively
for
go
another
to the
council
council
meeting.
room, just assuming
Yeah.
there would be a meeting.
Assuming a council has been called.
Yeah.
We were waiting here for you the whole time.
Yeah.
Yes, I assumed.
Yeah.
We've been waiting.
Oh.
I
I
imagine
think,
Randall's still in the layers because it's only been like 2 hours or so.
Yep, still
Yeah.
frozen through.
Mhm. Yeah, keep that as long as you need it.
Indeed. It's a testament, perhaps, to his natural stealth that he made it in the castle without arousing too much suspicion, I hope. Because he walks like an animatronic puppet.
So as
You know
Randolph
what?
enters,
Make me a dexterity stealth.
Let's
see.
do it. I've got a minus 2 on this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
I believe in you.
Oh, also, do you get
Uh,
manifestations for Fear Frenzy?
let me actually check because I know it's
Check.
definitely with Anger Frenzy. Let me check. Clan Gangrel. 3 successes if silent movement counts.
It would.
As
Uh,
Randolph enters the council chamber, Snorri walks over, looking at his frozen-ish form, puts a finger to his cheek. Mark, which one is colder?
Which-
Him. Like, actually, no, it's about the same temperature. If not, Snorri might actually be a little bit colder.
Snorri smiles a bit. Are beginning to understand.
Thank
It
you,
is.
Snorri.
Feel. He's very excited. It's the biggest, most genuine smile anybody's ever seen on him.
Like Randolph, like wearing the layers, but underneath them, you can see splashes in the fabric, burns across it. The rest of him looks surprisingly okay. He nods and goes, "Glad to hear it, Snorri."
You guys, well, should have gone with you.
You were invited, but it's perhaps for the best you did not. When a gangrel frenzies, so yes, he would.
Okay, then. What animalistic feature have you manifest?
I will say, uh, the nose or the ears of a bat, scrunched up and
I like that little...
kind of definitely inhuman looking, like misshapen and malformed, pointed, more flattened some, to perhaps to the uninitiated, he might look a little bit like a Nosferatu.
A little bit. But again,
More
the rest
handsome.
of your features are more human. And I'll say
Exactly.
you've suffered this would be to your appearance in a specific case.
Because this will kick me more. I
Mm.
don't often use appearance generally.
That's true.
Maybe something like perception, so there are like stakes if I choose to fail it.
I'll allow that. I think in this case, because of the bat ears, everything's a little too loud.
Mm.
Like, it's just a little bit too much. Like, when people speak, you hear, like, their voice is, like, like, pitching, like, in a microphone.
Definitely, and it's kind of messing with his equilibrium a little bit because only the ears are bat-like. Everything else is expecting a different audio input.
Yeah. I think that works well.
Randolph says, Sister Iris, if you'd like to give a report, I won't stop you, but there are things which need to be said. If you want to handle the first half, I can handle the back.
That depends on which half you consider the first. But
Entering the city and talking to the Seneschal and stuff.
got you. Yes.
Let me begin by saying that we are relieved that you've both returned safely.
It was tenuous for a moment there. However, we did. We spoke with the Prince of Douglas, made our presence known.
Also, Rebecca, could you speak up a little? Very low.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. We spoke with the Prince of Douglas, made our presence known, and we were. They didn't seem to. Oh yes. Sir Oliver had apparently made himself known there, as well. Before we had arrived. And then we investigated, found him in the catacombs, along with Sir Tancred, who accompanied us. We found him in the catacombs, Sir Oliver, and, well, Tancred turned out to be someone who had studied some hellish magics of some sort through this greenish black fire.
Tancred bore the
Intelligence.
tabard of a crusader and a third eye upon his forehead, but never heard of something like his ilk. The fire that came from
Intelligence,
him had burned
occult
at the soul.
difficulty 9 for anyone who would like to.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, do you, Thomas?
It burned not at the body, but at the soul. A testament, perhaps, to luck rather than skill that I survived.
9
Well, I
dice
don't know,
difficulty
she's-
9 for you, Drew.
It's not that it was unexpected, but the sheer ferocity, both of Sir Oliver to remain in the service of whatever it was, and of Keeper Eloise and Sir Tancred to not kill us as such, but drive us away. It was unanticipated. The mission was a failure, and it's fortunate that, on the face of it, we did not cause a diplomatic incident. However, if I were the enemy, I would be whispering poison into the ears of the court and the people of Douglas as we speak. Whatever they've involved themselves in, there is something vile at the heart of it. Something
Devilish.
unnatural, I say, with no small amount of irony.
I believe it's also
But-
worth noting that Sir Oliver was very adamant about exiting with them. I couldn't tell if his mind had been altered, though he did seem present. He did try and make us leave, and gave plenty of reasons for wanting to leave us. Whether or not that is true or things said to us as a means to get us off of his trail, I know not.
Hey,
In my
Mark,
vision, it seemed he was under a dark influence.
Sorry, what was
Dark
that, Drew?
influences can kind of
do I get specialization or no?
Not in this case. So
No
that's no
successes.
successes.
dark influences
I think
can manifest in several ways, whether or not it is someone else's dark influence or jealousy, insecurity, something that comes from within and twisting one's own heart.
definitely an outside influence. I think what's more important here is the Prince of Douglas aware? Is he in league with them? Is this taking place without his knowledge? Do you have any indication of that?
Not
He
yet.
seemed to be quite, let us say, accusatory at the beginning of it, believing that we ourselves were accusing his court of messing with his mind, Sir Oliver's mind. From what we heard by Sir Tancred, who indeed turned out to be a evil force himself,
Treacherous.
yes, so words to be taken with a grain of salt. Apparently found near the docks. I expect it to be some kind of lie, but the sheriff was there and was talking about. Well, let us say he was keeping an eye on things. Not enough to have noticed the people going missing, it seems, but enough to make himself a nuisance of us. I don't know if he's in league with them, but if Keeper Eloise is, and she is, then he's likely being fed lies at the best case, and at worst, he's part of it.
The sheriff was on the docks.
And
Yeah, the
apparently
catacombs.
unaware of our permission to investigate. So either there is no communication with the prince, or at least less than one might prefer, or certain details are being omitted.
Well, I think from our last experience with the sheriff, it's possible he's incompetent enough that he doesn't know what's going on.
God, he's a
What
prick.
about the seneschal? How did he react when you came to the city?
As
Seemed
kind and polite as ever, doing his job, not overstepping.
confused why we were there in the first place, as indeed he believed that Oliver, or at least said to us, that Oliver was here at our behest.
Who told him that?
Presumably Sir Oliver himself.
Oliver.
I want to believe the best of the seneschal. And I know he's also part of the church, which Sister Iris is, but knowing that it's his library, that he has the key to, well, we found that ritual, I must think that at least more than just Eloise are part of this in the court of Douglas.
It is possible, but all of our evidence is circumstantial at best. There's no way we can know that that book actively belonged to him. It's possible that somebody knew of the keys, or that he is not the only one that has access. Could be an easy enough hiding place, knowing that few people would get to it. Not saying it is an inaccurate accusation, but one must consider all the angles and possibilities.
Sister Iris is right. And despite our failure in this matter, we have learned from dogs. We have learned from it. We know what Sir Tancred largely is capable of, and we know where they are. Depending on what they need it for, whether just a safe place to hide, or whether or not they need to be surrounded by death, as in the catacombs. They will need to go to and from there. Entering Douglas without alerting the proper authorities will be seen as provocation. Alerting the proper authorities might cause some issues. Either they are in league with our enemies, or they are having the wool pulled over their eyes as well. In
Can
either
we
case,
finish up, Thomas?
all good. What you need?
Mark, with this having to be surrounded by death and being work in the catacombs, does that spark anything?
Not particularly.
Yeah. It is, at least my base knowledge, unlikely that catacombs actually have anything to do with these sort of powers you have discussed. It's likely simply that nobody looks there.
That's my first instinct as well. We know where they are. We know how they hunt. We know largely what they can do. What will be an issue is sheer numbers. If Douglas is arrayed against us, we will find it difficult to act there. And in fairness to what we have here, and I mean no insult to the Cainites gathered, if it is to be a war between our cords, it is in our best interests to avoid it.
Speaking of which, we should get started on that letter to Prince Atticus.
What letter's that?
We were hoping that informing the Prince of Douglas of our findings, that it would be an olive branch, a peaceful way to keep communication open, to show that we do mean to be in alliance. And if he already knows that we survived and is in league with them, it does nothing. He already knows that we know.
Exactly.
I think we have to proceed as if they're all hostile at this point, without knowing. I don't know what benefit it would be to send an olive branch at this point.
There are three
Because there's a
possibilities.
possibility of them not.
As Sister Iris said, if they're in league, then they know that they failed and we're likely to tell people that kind of thing. If he's ignorant of it, there are two possibilities there, both branching. One, he thinks we're idiots and trying to fool him, and hostilities increase. Two, he believes us and looks into matters, hampering their movements. We don't lose much.
What?
I think if
You
I
were
were
about
to receive
speak.
such... Go ahead, Snorri.
No, we're all very excited. At least most of us, but Maud, you had something to say.
I was just going to agree mostly with what Iris and Randolph were saying. I personally think it is a better idea to keep the possibility of that alliance open. I think if we act hostile, it would certainly trigger a war sooner rather than later. If anything, it might give him an excuse.
I'm not suggesting we act in a hostile manner. I just don't see the point in sending a letter telling them something they likely already know. From my perspective, if I were to receive such a letter from another city, I would immediately be suspicious. How do they know something? I might see that as hostile myself. Just a suggestion. There's quite a bit of pride in that clan, saying we found something they don't know about. Might not go over well.
Iris, your common sense kicks in. The prince of the city is a venturer. Sir Oliver is a venturer. He's more likely to believe Sir Oliver's word than any one of yours.
We still haven't heard back from our initial letter inquiring about Sir Oliver. Whatever came of that? Many moving parts here, none of which I trust in Douglas currently. See, we keep our own counsel in this matter.
You all speak of this Oliver as if at one time he held your respects. He did indeed. Then he tried to get you to leave. Even if by force. Maybe he was simply doing you a favor.
I had considered that angle. Yes. But we didn't really know him all that well.
I did.
We
Well, mostly.
knew him as well as I knew all of you. From meeting every couple years or so. An outing every 2 or 3. That is not
Hey, I worked
well.
with him for the better part of 2 decades.
I think now we may know where Amir has gone.
Amir?
Is he not in
Yes,
the
he took his-
council
He's here.
chamber?
He is here. He didn't leave.
I thought he told us he was leaving to take care of like a hunt. No?
No, I think he was
No,
he was keeping
yeah, he
keeping
was-
an eye.
Keeping tabs.
Yeah, he was
He's
letting
Yeah.
you know that that was why he was here, and
Yeah.
he's perfectly willing to wait for
Oh,
things
okay,
to
okay,
happen.
okay.
Marana and
Yeah.
Amir
Yep.
are here.
Misremembering. Okay,
Yeah.
let's hear what Amir and Mr. Marana have to say.
If
There's
it
that
is
point.
indeed... Okay.
No, no, it's okay. I didn't realize they were in the room.
Amir would speak up and would say, if it is indeed the work of an infernalist, it should be dealt with as soon as possible. Infernalists are... They are like cancer. They bury deep into the heart of something and slowly spread, corrupting and destroying it from the inside. They are a plague.
I think there's a look in Randolph's eyes, like a hawk suddenly spotting a mouse, as he turns and like looks at this person who like has knowledge about the thing he doesn't, and says, "What are they? What do they do? How
If
can they
they
be
are
killed?"
indeed infernalists, they can be killed like any other.
A bed of the snake.
Quite. Infernalists are those who have studied or made deals with demons or jinn. He would use the term jinn. They gain power, but also affects their soul, burns it, stains it. Those who are keen of eye can perhaps even see the markings upon the very soul. So I've heard. As I know, they are very dangerous. And they can be almost anyone. After all, everyone has a reason to want more power. Especially those of our kind.
Hmm.
Quite so.
Sir Oliver, fooled or tricked by this creature. Sir Tancred, that is his name, the Crusader. It seems as if he serves it more directly. There's a trail here that can be followed. If we need to be able to act, we need to, as you say, cut the head off the snake. We need to find out what trail Sir Tancred has blazed and where it leads back to. I don't like any of the demons that have been mentioned in legend, in history, or in my personal experience. Prince Gwynedd, do you think this could be the work of yours, having found no purchase within your soul, having tried to make inroads in other lesser minds?
It could be, but I don't think we should consider that there's only one demon involved here.
Hmm.
Do you think Peel is large enough to attract more than one?
I
Many
think
angels
that the
around
isle
somewhere.
itself could attract many, potentially.
I have a proposal, and I would like to run it by all here. I want to establish a, shall we say, surveillance on Douglas. Personally speaking, I mean. A network can let things slip, though it would be useful to have. But I, in the form of a bird, though it will require me to leave this post, to keep an eye on the catacombs, to see where they wander, to see how they hunt, and, if given the opportunity, strike hard and fast without warning, knock them into ash, scatter it to the winds, and disappear.
What of your job as sheriff? Sister Morana interrupts.
That's the main issue. It will require much of my time being over there.
They are in the catacombs for no occult reason. Perhaps we should take away their hiding place. See where they go. Like rats going above ground.
It is
That does-
underground. It could be flooded.
Be flooded.
A desecration like that, if traced back to us, would absolutely be considered a hostile act.
And admittedly, something like that would draw the eyes of the baronies of Avalon too.
It's beyond that. This force or forces have an understanding that is beyond those in this room. Maybe flooding the one place where we can get the answers we need.
Might make us look complacent as well.
What do you propose then, Snorri?
Billy shrugs. I think,
Catacombs are your territory.
yes, as I said, I don't believe there's any barring on what is going on that has anything to do with the catacombs. I do think, should the sheriff wish to go and spend his time doing such, we have a capable backup. Our Valkyrie.
I agree.
I will say this, in the spirit of openness and honesty, like a feral grin, as much as our kind can be. I enjoy my position as sheriff. I would not want to give it up. However, I understand that my personal ambitions come secondly in response to these creatures, this conspiracy that lays
Iris,
thick over the entire island.
your common sense goes off. Randolph can always, as sheriff, has the right to dictate someone to
Appoint
become
hounds.
a hound
Mm-hmm.
in service to the sheriff.
Well, if you needed to be away from your post, you do have the right as sheriff to appoint hounds, either
Right,
in your
so,
absence
I think
or
more.
to. Well then,
Also, not for a confrontation. Simply watching and gathering information needs to be done. And off no disrespect intended. I think Sister Morana and her brood might be able to get more information than even you, as they are more than one.
He nods,
agree.
eyes sliding over to Sister Morana, saying, "Is this the kind of operation you and yours would be willing to conduct?"
No. And then she raises a
he-
single claw. In that domain, another of my blood has made a deal. I do not invade his rings. He does not invade mine. So far, we have kept it so. That does not mean that I can't. It means I would need a very good reason to believe that it is of utmost importance to do so.
Frankly, I don't see what valuable information we could glean from a bird's eye view of what's going on there. I think useful information would be found close to what's going on.
The only piece of information that matters is which split seconds are they vulnerable to the final strike. I will be going there with the intent of watching, gathering information, but the primary objective will be eliminating the threat.
Losing you for an extended period of time when we have our own troubles here in Peel, I'm not sure it's worth it.
Yes. Between all of the, kidnappings and embracings, it's possible they'll still try and get a foothold here. But we know where one of them is. Oh, hi, Snorri.
Speaking of which, looks over towards Maud. This may be all tied together. Are indeed Infernalists involved?
Or this could be our opportunity to shore up defenses before they come for us. As you say, it's possible that Prince Atticus is involved with them, and knowing that you've escaped, sooner or later they will be coming for us, whether he's involved or not. Depending how fast the cancer spreads.
A brief question. What do you mean by, possible connection, Snorri? How far does this spread?
His eyes again look to Maud before turning towards Randolph. Bride.
He makes a motion with his hands as if, for you to elaborate.
So it's more like...
Yeah, it's...
There is a prophecy I have foreseen by studying her, in which is the foretelling of, do you want to call it Ragnarok, or Henna, or the end of all times and all things, written about in many cultures and many books. She
Those who would
certainly
like
has
to
a bit
make...
to do with it.
Those who have not already and would like to can make an intelligence occult roll, difficulty 9.
Let's do it.
If you have a cult, of course.
Is book learning
Gotta succeed.
at all?
Not in this case.
Botch.
This is you.
I got nothing.
You can, however, research it later, even if you fail this roll. And it will be easier to research it than it is to remember it off the top of your head.
One
Nice.
success.
One success. The word Gehenna definitely stirs in your mind. It's a Greek word. It means hell. In Canaanite literature, it is often referred to as the end of the world, the time of judgment, when the first among kindred kind, Cain or whatever name you wish to give them, will return and judge all of his children for the crimes they have committed against humanity and against God. There are many who simply believe that this is myth. But there's enough people out there that have seen what they believe are the signs of the end times in these nights, and that it's only a matter of time before the elders arise
If it really is Gehenna, we should be prepared.
What's that?
Precisely.
It is. And she regurgitates all of that same information.
Mm-hmm.
So...
The issue.
Oh, sorry, you go.
Issue being the part the bride plays, whether she is the fruit plucked from the tree, hand plucking the fruit, all of it. None of it remains to be seen, but all this talk of infernalism and us not being able to necessarily pin down her lineage. Story may already be at our doorstep.
There was...
I think that we are going to protect Bride as we promised to do. And I also think that if I wanted to throw a city into chaos, I would start siring people and hiding their lineage and link it back to perhaps the prince or others of his blood who may be in the city not necessarily welcome. I think that's an excellent way to throw us into chaos. And knowing how difficult it is to do such a thing, I think we have to consider it an attack and not at all unrelated to what's going on in Douglas. But I'm sorry, Randolph, what were you saying?
I was saying that we seem to be having an unfortunately wide epidemic of young ladies being kidnapped and embraced and like murdered and stuff. Granted, I did do some of the killing, but no, the dogs did the killing. He wouldn't say that.
Well,
but...
that's not the case. Maud did the killing.
Yeah, more did the
Oh, that's
killing.
right. That's right.
Yeah,
He did do the
yeah.
killing.
Yeah.
That's right. In that case, he won't mention that because Maud may have
It's
her
right
feelings.
there.
Maud done fucked up.
But
Remember that
she
girl
does.
you killed, Maud? Wasn't that fucked up?
Oh yes. Oh,
it
she
wasn't
does
that fucked
remember
up.
the girl
Like,
she
it was
killed.
kind of
Yeah.
fun, right?
He had it
but,
coming, it's fine.
Exactly. Randolph is going to say she was held by a raving madman with prophecies of Ragnarok and the end of the world as well. Perhaps he was trying to prevent it in some way, or bring it about in a more roundabout way. Either way, I think we can determine what we already know, that the skeins of fate are woven around this island, and I don't like that feeling.
What do I?
We need to figure out what's doing it. We need to kill him. Quick and fast.
Excellent.
Or we need to not be distracted by what keeps being thrown at us here and eliminate the threat in Douglas, which may be the source.
I think they're both important. I don't think all our effort has to be pointed towards one or the other.
Either way, I think we protect Bride as we failed to protect the first chosen one who was going to bring about the apocalypse.
If it's possible by her death, we have slotted in motion.
If anybody wishes to, just for fun, they can make a perception empathy on Randolph.
I would love to.
Or Randolph.
We're gonna do standard diff.
Yeah. Like, he's
Nice.
not really hiding his like, expression.
Would you think discerning or reading guilt would?
Not reading guilt, but discerning would.
2 successes.
Like, the first time it was mentioned, like, when Prince Gwynedd said, of course we shall defend her, like, Randolph was about to, like, be offering to kill her, but, like, pulls it back. He was definitely not shy about, oh, well, if she's a problem. But clearly reading the temperature of the room, he was like, yeah, we'll defend him, sure.
A good little caretaker.
For what it is worth, having discussed this, I believe that not only should we must protect her until a point that we are sure and certain her end cure the disease. Her end may cause coming trials.
We'll protect her regardless. I'm not going to fail again.
Certainly.
Agreed.
With that said, while keeping an eye on our own borders is the most important, we'll
Lord,
be
why don't you
chasing
make me
ghosts for a little
a
while.
self-control roll, difficulty
Yep.
5.
Yay!
Oh.
But we were just saying how much we were going to protect her.
I believe
While
she
also
can use it.
bringing
swear.
up the girl that Maud killed. 3 successes. Okay.
Oh yes.
Make another one. One more.
Yeah, let's go.
Very
There's-
good.
Yeah, that's enough.
Yeah.
You keep control.
Yeah, so, yep.
Randolph will say, there are many things here that we need to look into. The boar-headed gangrel siring people, the mystery sire, who sired Bride, and an assortment of other goings-on in the night. We know of direct demon activity in Douglas. However, getting there is the tricky part. It's a matter of which should take our attention. This city is ours by right, and it's that which we control. It's territory we have.
And I will say, if you do investigate Douglas and you get caught, that is an excuse that they will have to attack if they are in fact. And even if they're not, it's an excuse.
Our enemies are clearly trying to sow discord as much as they possibly can to hide their own activities. So yes, I would say, regardless, it would be bad if we were caught spying on them.
Right, so
Sister Iris, as this does involve infernal things, do you think there's anything the church would do or know, any resources they might have to protect
I was
us
planning
and the
on
city?
checking in with them and finding out if there was anyone that knew anything, but I will do so.
Perfect.
If diplomacy is
Well-
our biggest concern, I can turn my eyes towards the surrounding fields of Peel.
Yes, I think perhaps we should focus on shoring up our protections for now.
I'll
Agreed.
build a house on sand. Good idea.
I agree.
But if we see an opportunity to strike at these foes, we should take it.
We would be
Of course.
defending us.
Maud, given what we know now about Bride, do you think she's safer on your farm, or should we have her come back to the city?
The farm is fine.
Just your judgment.
Sure.
Alright. Okay.
Well then, for now, research and protection, yes?
Of course. Arm yourself first with knowledge.
Are you going to say more, Randolph?
No, I think our path is relatively clear. I don't like these people being on our island, even on the same world as us. But the patient hunter gets their prey. It was my impatience that caused them to get away in the first place. We'll bide our time and strengthen ourselves. And I imagine when the time comes for them to finally act, it'll be a bit obvious, especially if the prophecies of the end of the world are true.
Nothing is set in stone.
Right. If that's... I just want to see Amir. After this, I'd like to talk to you about infernalism, what you know, everything you can.
Of course,
Just to collate information. Perfect.
that can be done. At this point, Sister Marana would interrupt as he kind of steps forward with a large, long, bony finger. There is one other thing I would like to bring to the attention of the council.
Proceed.
As it is currently, there are a lot of Canaanites within the city. Possibly more than the city can handle. It is dangerous to have so many of us in one place. It might be a time to look at letting go some of our guests.
Agree.
Many of them are here as diplomatic ambassadors and such, but I'll be honest, I don't quite know what benefit many of them provide. There is the possibility of expansion, but that's far more ambitious than it is letting people go.
I think it may be time to perhaps call some of them in for interviews or pay private visits to see if they can perhaps help us with our predicament in any way, with information or resources. Maud, had you made a connection with Mackenzie at the last Elysium? Might you consider paying her a visit?
Sorry. I should not be looking at Rebecca. I could chat with her briefly, I suppose, but out of character, she was she just visiting, or was she actively staying in the city?
She's actively staying.
Isn't
She was
she-
here
She
as
is actively
a...
Lord
staying.
Duncan's representative,
Yes.
right?
Emissary
Right,
of
she
Edinburgh.
was.
We can't really get rid of
Oh,
her,
yeah.
but she's very well connected.
That's true, yeah.
So she might have resources we could use.
Yep.
And you know,
Mr.
Yeah.
pretty lady, go visit.
Ha ha ha.
Mr. Mark, could you do me a favor and bring us to the map with the number of tokens, just so I can...
course.
Thank you.
There's a
Visiting
lot of
the
them.
city. Yeah.
Because we probably shouldn't kick out the ones who've been here for a while. Judas, he can go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
he should have
Should've
gone.
already.
He was
I mean-
leaving.
We
Just
might
leave
find
him.
him a cloister somewhere, honestly. Somewhere
He's
close
Send him
by.
off
in
somewhere else.
hell. Send him in a cloister in
He
hell.
would hate that after we kind of jostle him around. I don't think he's gonna let that
wants to be
fly.
somewhere up high. I feel
You
like if he's
believe
close
him?
by, it's
Yeah, I can.
I mean, he's the scariest thing here. Why would he lie?
Most of
He
the
has
What
plenty of
canines.
reason does
reasons
he
to
have to lie to
lie.
you?
Yeah.
He's
Most of the
Judas!
canines. Most of the canites we've brought here have been done through diplomacy and deals made. The ones I would like best to leave are a little too powerful to be shoved away.
Right.
We haven't heard from Maine in a while. Sort of just forgotten about him.
He
Maine
might
was an
be
emissary
someone
of
else
the
to turn
Baroness.
to for resources. Yeah.
He was an emissary of the Baroness of Ulster.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Right.
quite
Correct.
know what purpose he serves, but no deal was made as such.
I wouldn't mind getting rid of Lord Cartwright.
But the agreement was directly made with the Lords of Blood, right?
Understand.
I don't care.
I would agree. I think
That's-
it's better that he leaves.
Everybody that is here. He stares down Sister Morana with a nod of respect. As a diplomatic force, a little bit of an eye roll. It's considered to be your responsibility, Council. If word is to come to these shores, be lost. The court of Edinburgh will come calling for their own, as will everybody else that has somebody here. Maybe just give them the opportunity to leave before the war starts. Because you will be responsible. The silly laws that others follow.
I think we have to be very careful about the information we share with these foreign dignitaries.
Well, how would you phrase it?
As I said, I think we should speak with each of them and see what resources they might offer. And if there are none, then I'll think of something to tell them, but just announcing that we may soon be at war with Douglas is not the way.
Who said that?
Especially if Douglas doesn't feel the same way, and they get wind of that conversation.
Am I not speaking the same language as you all?
In fairness
did
to
it-
Snorri, he did not say at war with Douglas.
At war?
Merely the rebels.
Demons, infernalists,
Mm-hmm.
people of the city are you all's responsibility. Till they die and then they become mine.
I have a question, Mark. We went from a city with like 3 vampires in it that weren't us to quite a few more, but are there more of these people like outside of these lists that like are Canites? Like, how big was the kindred population before now?
There are a few others, but most of them are either not true residents, like they're people that come by for trading or whatever reason. The only other ones would be some of the Nosferatu.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
However, the only one you know of is what was his name?
Limpy.
Limpy.
Also,
Limpy.
Who's not
Limpy
on
has to
any of
stay.
the lists that you have of the K-Knights within the city. He is not on there.
indeed. He is on Randolph's private ones.
Private?
Goodness, Randolph's private reserves.
And if it has
I
an
just
effect,
need a list.
Marana has not mentioned it for one reason or another.
Indeed. With this in mind, it wouldn't be bad to tell them that difficult times are coming. After all, emissaries or not, Snorri is correct, they are citizens at the moment. And if it causes some of them to flee a ship they believe to be sinking, well, good riddance to bad rubbish.
I think the more vague we are, the better. But to begin with, we should see what use they can be to us.
Good idea. Do a proper accounting of what they can provide. If they can't provide anything, well,
We're a small island with our own limited resources in terms of kind.
I'm honestly confused why no one's colonized the other two cities yet. I'd have done it if I weren't, if I didn't have a job.
That you know of.
That I know of.
Yeah, that we know of.
But, like, no one's officially declared praxis, right?
Yeah, no, there's no official call, at least not that you've heard.
Indeed. All in
Whatever
all,
it is,
it
we need
seems...
to do
oh,
it.
yes.
Yes, we have quite a bit of work to do.
So interviews, a census taking, and I'll be perusing the area, ensuring that laws are maintained with or without the permission of the lawbreaker. I'm gonna put a focused effort onto the boar gangrel, see if we can get rid of one problem we know about, if he hasn't gotten himself killed already. He feels like he'll be formidable prey.
There is also a possibility. If we do want to investigate Douglas and we suspect something, there is that red-headed member of the Fuhrers that was giving
Yes,
all
Eamon.
trouble. Eamon.
I was wondering if we should contact them.
I think that that is potentially a good bet. They are already someone that has caused trouble in Douglas and do like rooting out a bit of corruption.
What do we know about their faction?
I know things. Let me check my notes.
They targeted
Violent bunch,
princes,
hate
if I
elders.
recall.
People don't remember they can make an intelligence politics difficulty 7, I think it was.
They were a radical group of terrorists.
That doesn't sound very flattering, but
Well, I'm looking at your notes.
yeah.
They attacked a lot of princes in the baronies.
Corrupt ones.
In the case for you, Gwyneth, from what you know of them, they are a group of radical terrorists striking out against the elders and those who believe themselves mighty and powerful. Their whole thing is about rebellion for those who are unfortunate enough to be under the thumb of elders.
And if Gehenna is all about the elders coming back, they would certainly have a desire to stamp it out, I would assume.
How do they feel about demons and infernalists? That's the real question.
I don't think it's on many people's political manifestos.
Terrorists, though.
People get labeled a lot of things by the people in charge that don't like what they do.
And if I'm speaking entirely frankly, if some people in Douglas need to die for this threat to be inconvenienced, I don't mind.
Better it be on his hands as well. He's not linked to us.
So long as it doesn't get
Randolph,
linked
were you
to
the
us.
one? Were you the one that Eamon spoke with previously?
Aye. Though I don't think he remembers me for various reasons.
That may be for the best.
Because if it is Randolph that gives orders or has the conversation,
Well, another path to investigate. Now, I think we have our work cut out for us.
quite so.
I never thought I'd say this, but war seemed far simpler, and it involved far less death.
It has far-reaching
Make it your war yet.
Death is just
Please
another step
stand
of
up
life,
and-
Randolph.
Gwyneth is gonna stand up and wave council dismissed. You know what I mean? Like he's off to the library to do stuff.
With that, you each go your own separate ways as we bring an end to tonight's session.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Good time all around. With that, to all those who are still watching, thank you for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed. If you really like this stuff, give us a follow, and also check out our YouTube, where you can find all the backlog of stuff that is not currently on the Twitch, because Twitch likes to remove things. So if you want to go watch that stuff, go to the CatsMeow show on YouTube. We hope you've enjoyed the lovely time of Dark Vampires. And we're going to go do some outros. Starting off with Rebecca. Give us your outro.
Yay. Hi, I'm Rebecca, and I played Keeper Sister Iris, the La Sombra, and well, goodness. It's been an episode for sure.
Very nice. Next up, Mars. Give us your outro.
Yeah, I am Mars, and I played Maud, the Valkyrie Aramanes.
Also,
Also,
Oh, you knew of a new rank.
Hound.
Oh, I am a hound. Am I?
You're one of
Yeah.
Randolph's
I mean,
hounds.
Yay!
I do have
didn't know if
the
that got us
authority to
confirmed or
name
not.
them, but yes.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's up to the sheriff, yeah.
Yeah, it's whatever
Yay.
Randolph says it is.
I guess I'm Valkyrie Hound Arabane.
Been
Every
deputized.
title and nickname and sobriquet you get, you just elongate it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
But wait,
Maud the-
can you
Maud
make
the Valkyrie
Ragnar a hound?
I could.
Technically,
I don't think
I
I,
guess.
would, but
I think he was
You
born one.
should,
Yeah.
yeah, he is kind of born for the position.
I
right?
don't know if I don't know if we'd take it as a compliment though.
I don't know that he's got the
Oh,
temperament
God.
for it.
Not a hound, he's a
Lit-
wolf.
He's a
Your
loose cannon.
paperwork has been lacking. Your handwriting's terrible.
With that, Thomas, why don't you give us your outro?
Hello, my name is Thomas, and I have been Sheriff Randolph, and he and I are so sad we didn't eliminate the threat. I just did 1 ag damage. If I had 7 more rounds, I would have won, but... but yes, it's been a delight, and as always, it's wonderful playing with you all.
Wonderful. Alright, next up, Blue. Give us your outro.
Hello, everyone. I have been Blue, playing your Prince Gwyneth of Peel. Definitely not gonna flood the catacombs in Douglas. Would never.
Be fine. Don't worry about it.
It's definitely fine.
Yeah. And last but certainly not least, Drew. Give us your outro.
Hey everyone, good evening. I've been Drew. Guess I still am. Playing Snorri, the grumpy Cappadocian that's not part of the council but seems to make it to all the meetings. It's been a joy. It's always nice to play with everybody, and I'm enjoying this project, so thank you for having me.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll give you a seat someday. Until then, you're gonna have to stand.
He doesn't want one.
Oh.
Might break
and
in half if he sat down.
Yeah. And with that, I have been Mark, aka the CatsMeow, your storyteller for tonight's events. We hope you've enjoyed Isle of the Damned, episode 19, and I hope you'll join us next time as we continue our adventure, slowly ticking closer to Ragnarok. So I hope you're all excited for the end of all things. Before we leave, I'll leave you off with one last reminder. There are things out there that will try and contact you. Not necessarily talk, but whisper. And they will whisper things that are so beautiful, so tempting. Something you must simply have. But do not listen to those voices, for you never know if one of them may in fact be the infernal powers of a demon. Until then, have a good night. Actually, how many people do we have? So I might raid out.
We have 5. One of them is me.
We'll do a raid, why not? I'm getting the habit of it. So, yeah, keep them entertained while I find someone.
I stand
Ooh,
up
we'll go
routine.
to
What's the deal with
Tomb of
airline food?
Lime again. There we go.
Woo!
Actually, airline food that I've had recently, and by recently I mean like 6 months ago, is kind of okay. Like, it really depends on
They give
what
you
you're
food?
getting. They sometimes do give you food.
Qantas, do I think?
Fly international, yeah.
Alright. We are going to raid now. Till next time. Bye.
Farewell.
Bye.